Back in June 2023, I think we were all glued to our screens, watching the story of the Titan submersible unfold. It was a tragedy that captured the world's attention. Well, now a massive official report has finally come out. And let me tell you, it is damning. The report doesn't paint a picture of a tragic accident. No, it describes an absolute failure. So let's get into it and see what they found. And at the heart of all this, we have to remember this number 5. That's the number that really matters. 5 people lost their lives on June 18, 2023, on what was supposed to be the adventure of a lifetime to the wreck of the Titanic. And here's the kicker. According to the official investigation, these are 5 people who absolutely should be alive today. I mean, just listen to that quote. These 5 lives could have been easily saved. That's coming from Jason Neubauer, the chairman of the entire U.S. Coast Guard investigation. That just hits you right in the gut, doesn't it? It tells you everything you need to know. This was not some freak accident, some unavoidable tragedy in the deep, dark ocean. The official report is crystal clear. This was a preventable disaster. So the big looming question is, how on earth did this happen? So we're diving into what the report calls a preventable tragedy. And to really get it, you have to understand that this wasn't about one little thing going wrong. The official report lays out a clear, undeniable pattern of, well, deliberately ignoring safety. It's a story of negligence from top to bottom. Let's just quickly recap the timeline here because it's just so sudden. On June 18th, 2023, the Titan starts its dive. Everything seems fine. But then just an hour and a half later, poof, all communication is lost. It just vanished. Of course, a huge search kicked off, and after a few days, the worst was confirmed. The vessel had imploded catastrophically. And now we have this massive 335-page report from the Coast Guard that details exactly how and why it all went so terribly wrong.
So if you take away one thing from this whole investigation, let it be this. This disaster wasn't caused by a single broken part or some fluke. The report makes it absolutely clear that the entire catastrophe came down to a conscious choice, a choice to completely ignore modern, accepted, life-saving engineering rules. This was a total failure of design, a failure of the company's culture, and when you get right down to it, a massive failure of leadership. All right, Section 2, the carbon fiber gamble. This is where it all starts. The failure really begins with the single most important part of any submersible, the hull. You see, OceanGate made a decision here that had pretty much the entire deep-sea community scratching their heads in disbelief. It was a gamble, and it turned out to be a fatal one.
Okay, so the hull was made of carbon fiber. Now, just so you understand why this is such a big deal, almost every other deep-sea sub is built out of solid metals, usually titanium. Why? Because titanium is super predictable. You put it under pressure and it compresses evenly. Simple. Carbon fiber, on the other hand, is a composite material made of layers. And under the insane pressures of the deep sea, those layers can start to separate and pull apart. It's a process called delamination. And if that happens, the whole structure fails instantly. I'm talking catastrophic collapse in a millisecond. And this isn't some new discovery. It's like material science 101. And look, these weren't just abstract, theoretical warnings. People in the industry told OceanGate directly, hey, using this material is a really bad idea. But get this. It gets even worse. On dives in 2021 and 22, the sub's own sensors were picking up cracking sounds coming from the hull itself. The hull was literally screaming for help. And you know what the report found? They never did any proper checks on it. Not once. The warning signs were flashing bright red, and they were just ignored. Actively ignored. Rob McCollum, who used to be a consultant for OceanGate, said something that is just absolutely chilling. He said it was mathematically certain to fail. We just didn't know when. Think about that. He's not saying it was risky or that there was a chance of failure. He's saying it was a 100% guarantee it was just a matter of time. So a really flawed material was used, right? But a piece of carbon fiber doesn't just decide to become a submarine hull. An experimental design doesn't just decide to ignore its own cracking sounds. For that, you need a person. And to really understand why this insane gamble was taken and why all the alarms were turned off, you have to look at the man driving the whole thing, the CEO, Stockton Rush. This quote you see here, certification hinders innovation, this is everything. This is the key to this entire disaster. This was Stockton Rush's core philosophy. And remember, he wasn't just the CEO. He was piloting the sub on its final dive. He genuinely believed that all the safety rules, all the regulations that the industry had built up over decades were just getting in the way of his vision. So He just didn't do them. He actively avoided getting the Titans certified by anyone.
And check this out. This really shows you the systemic problem inside the company. He was the CEO, okay, fine, but he was also the lead engineer and the pilot. And for all intents and purposes, he was the company's chief safety officer. So who was going to tell him no? Who was going to raise a red flag? Every single job that should have been a check or a balance on the others was held by the same guy, the guy who thought safety roles were just an annoying obstacle.
And this wasn't just some abstract idea he had. He enforced it. Back in 2018, the company's own director of marine operations wrote up this incredibly detailed, damning report on all the safety problems with the sub. And what happened? He got fired. Rush told him his conservative approach was getting in the way of the vision. Can you imagine the message that sends to everyone else in the company? It's simple. Shut up about safety or you lose your job.
So when you have that kind of mindset coming from the very top, what do you get? You get a culture where cutting corners becomes standard practice. It becomes the normal way of doing things. And the investigation found a level of unprofessionalism across the board that is just, well, it's shocking. I mean, just look at this comparison. It says it all. The industry standard is real-time voice communication, so you can actually talk to the surface. Titan? They used a laggy text message system basically to save a few bucks. Certified, purpose-built components? Nope. Titan used a modified PlayStation controller to steer the thing. And the manuals? You'd think the operating manual for a deep-sea submersible would be pretty detailed, right? Well, parts of Titans were literally just filled in with "to be determined." You can't make this stuff up. And the report also gives us some pretty crucial context for why all this was happening. It turns out OceanGate was in serious financial trouble. By 2023, they were asking employees to work for free, and Stockton Rush was basically propping the company up with his own cash. So what happens when a company is in crisis? The experienced people, the ones who know what they're doing, they start to leave. And they get replaced by less experienced engineers who are suddenly in way over their heads on this incredibly dangerous project. I think one of the company's former directors put it best. He said the submersible was like a high school project, and the team was at that level. Just let that sink in. They were marketing this thing as a super high-tech, cutting-edge adventure. But behind the curtain, it was basically being run like a kid's science fair project. And that's the thing. Calling it a high school project isn't just a good line. It's the key to understanding how everything we've talked about connects. You've got the technical flaws with the hull, the dangerous safety is a waste ideology, the intense financial pressure. It's like a perfect storm of failure, all leading to one final, terrible, and completely inevitable implosion. So when you lay it all out, the path to this disaster is just tragically clear. Step 1. You start with a design that is fundamentally flawed, using a material everyone knows is wrong for the job. Step 2. You create a company culture where anyone who raises safety concerns gets punished or fired. Step 3. You put one person in charge of everything, a leader who personally rejects the whole idea of safety standards. What do you get? A catastrophic failure that was not only preventable, it was pretty much predicted. Maybe nothing sums up the thinking that led to this tragedy better than Stockton Rush's own words. He actually said this in an interview once. At some point, safety is just a waste. Well, on June 18th, 2023, deep in the North Atlantic, that philosophy got put to the ultimate test, and the result was a catastrophic, undeniable failure. Which really leaves us with one last haunting question that this whole investigation forces us to ask. This report, it's basically a blueprint of how not to do things. It's a textbook case study in arrogance and hubris. But if we as a society don't learn from this, if we ignore the lessons about why regulations matter, why you need oversight, and why you should probably listen to the experts, well, then the question isn't if we'll see another Titan. The only question is, where will it pop up next?